Yeah, so
You're so West Hollywood.
I'm very. There's actually around the corner.
Is that where you put them?
I've always been creative. When I think back, what was the first thing I ever painted? Like when I was a kid in high school, when I was a skate punk, whatever you want to call that. I was getting into skating and I bought some Chuck Taylors, like some white Chuck Taylors, and I don't know how I was turned on to the Pollock splatting of paint. I don't know if it was through art history or we didn't have art history. I don't know. I honestly I can't remember, but I knew of Jackson Pollock's work, and I thought that really stimulated me. That, you know, so I got like some white Converse and I bought some paint and I just splattered my canvas with paint. Jeffrey Newman, or Jeff Newman.
Or Newman.
Or Newman, yeah, a lot of people call me Newman.
Do they?
Yeah. People that have known me for a long time call me Newman, you know what I mean? Like, or, you know, you get those people that are like, have you ever seen Seinfeld? It's just,
right.
Like,
do you find that you're like that guy?
Not that I'm aware. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, just outside actually, Hollywood Artist. I was raised in probably upper middle class, you would call upper middle class family. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My father was an attorney, trial attorney, corporate litigation.
How'd you get along with him?
Kind of a contentious relationship. My dad was a great provider, but he wasn't the greatest of fathers. When I was in high school, middle school, and elementary school, where I was really like a scrawny little kid, and I had no fear at that age, and I fought a lot. You know, I fought, and no one taught me how to fight. I was a bully I was a bully for a while in elementary school, and I could fight. I don't know why. And you know, I had a curse club. You know, we would get together and we would say like "fuck," and I remember one of my friends ratted on me. And, you know, like their mom called my mom. It's just so stupid. I mean, I remember my first, I was the guy that had parties in high school. My parents used to go away on the weekends. And my first party was might have been 8th grade. During my traveling, like I would have certain shirts or whatever that would kind of like fall apart, and I would mend them. And I got back and I did the same thing, and so people would be like, oh, you got something on, like this is one of them, so I had like a little stitch there. I had like a white t-shirt, which was one of my first, and it was splitting apart here. It was comfortable. It was like, you know what I mean? Like those beautiful shirts that you have, and I stitched it black, and people were always like, hey, dude, you have your shirt on backwards. I was like, no, that's the way it's supposed to be. So that grew into what's an ism? Like an ism is a theory or an ideology or something. So I want to like redefine that, and at that time it was like clothing, or fixing clothing, or taking vintage clothing and redefining what we do. And I wanted, even in the mission statement of Newisms, was like, let's redefine everything we know. And I did that for a while. It was all about art. You know, people would see my shirts and be like, you're doing art on a shirt. And they were right. Like I would draw on the shirt, and then I would stitch, you know, all sorts of different designs.
How did you come up with blame it on art?
Well, I blame it on art, and then I also have like Hollywood, right? HOLLYW, like Hollywood what? You know, Hollywood do this, Hollywood do that, and then for some reason I love, you know, I would play with words. Like Newisms was a play on words on some level. So it'd be like loveism, like what's your loveism? Like, okay, so then I got to like art, like it's all art's fault. Like my whole life and me getting sober or whatever, not drinking anymore, was all about me claiming responsibility for my life. So I think it's, I always thought when I was drinking and drugging all the time, it was like, it's never my fault. Like God did it to me, my dad did it to me, my mother did it to me. The moment of change in my life was when I realized that I did it to me. Like I'm doing this to myself, every part of it. And I started. And it's been like, kind of like a wildfire since. I paint every day, and I still do acting. I haven't really written much since I started painting. Just, and I've written a bunch of stuff. I've never been produced on a large scale, but I've wrote and executive produced like some short films and AD'd and did all that stuff, and I love that stuff. But there's something about painting that I can do on a daily basis, and I don't know if it's because of my age or where I'm at in my life, but I can, like I said, like I identified when one day I put up a new canvas, I was like, wow, I'm scared. Like, I'm scared this is gonna be crappy, no one's gonna like it. I was talking earlier about another friend of mine, Joey, who's got more experience than me as an artist, but he's so humble and so helpful, and both he and Chris have really been like champions of mine in the art community, encouraging me to keep going. And Joe's like, dude, you can't just paint over it if you don't like it. You know what I mean? But it's like, oh, I like this where it's at. So now I take pictures along the process in case I get to a place where it's like, oh, I overshot that one. You know what I mean? And I've done that where it's like, oh, fuck, like I really liked where this was going. And it's taken me a long time in my life to get grateful and to be okay in this moment. And I meditate and I do yoga and I box. All of that is like, all of that type of stuff, that physical activity, boxing, yoga, it is a meditation. Like that's how the exercise got me to a place of being still enough for this thing to quiet down where it could kind of like boil out.
So I'm on the way now to Ricky's gym to spar Jeff Newman, local LA artist, painter. Met him at the Wildcard Boxing Gym, and we had a couple sparring sessions, and they were somewhat violent, but it was good. So here we are at Ricky's gym, and about to spar Jeff. And it's funny, I always get a little nervous, before I spar. It's like it makes my stomach rumble. There it is. Brandon Martinez, Jeff Newman. Jeff Newman did this.
I'm lucky I did that.